I don't see the problem. Ultron's great, and understanding his kit is key. There are things you can and should do to unlock his full potential, from gameplay habits to in-game settings that are worth tweaking. But before all that, here's what we need to know. Ultron isn't a burst healer, he's a preventative sustained healer, similar to Mantis. His healing is lower, but it's steady, and his healing has no cooldown, and that consistency adds real value over time if your team plays smart. And he can also burst heal a little bit, and we'll get into that. And I like to think of it like this. Ultron is like a jacket on a cold day. It doesn't stop the cold entirely, but it protects you just enough to stay safe. Now, the other healers, say a big cold front comes in, they're like heated blankets. They're powerful, they're the most useful after you're already freezing. So with that in mind, let's look at how Ultron's kit actually works, starting with his primary attack. Ultron's primary fire is Encephalo-Ray. It has two parts. I love this attack. It's a steady beam and a burst pulse at the end. The beam fires 6 rounds in just half a second, each hitting for 12 damage, so it totals 72 damage. Then immediately right after that, a little cylindrical spell field triggers, hitting for another 75 damage. This means a single full activation deals 147 damage. So if you land back-to-back shots, that's 294. No crits required. It's a tracking attack, so as long as you can stay on the target, the damage is guaranteed. You don't have to aim for the head, you just track your enemy, keep your crosshair on him. You can either tap fire this, when you do that, he does the full attack, or you just hold down the button to fire him over and over in sequence. The full cycle takes 1.58 seconds, which sounds slow, but with how hard it hits, especially against swishier heroes, you realize how reliable and threatening it really is. It's good. Excellent chip damage, and it's a great finisher. It's worth noting the attack can't be canceled. I mean, I've seen some things about this, but even with the fastest cancel tips, by either using your drone or using a melee, it ends up being slower. So just commit and track. It can't be canceled. Now, about the range. Damage falloff starts at 20 meters and drops to 75% by 30 meters, so 147 within range, and it drops to 110 at max range, and well beyond that. This is still incredibly solid for something that just tracks, that doesn't need headshots. Across map, 110 damage is a good thing. He remains dangerous even though he's far away. And in general, this attack makes him an exceptional summons destroyer. So Namor's squid, penny nests, anything that comes up from the enemy, you have the aerial view, you have movement. He's great for getting those things gone. And one thing I've never done for any hero so far is I actually turned on the reticle animation for Ultron. This is something you can do as well. You can use the default reticle, or like me, I have a simple cross dot, and I put the reticle code down in the description if you want mine, but why it's worth it is when you turn on this animation, it starts large, and then it shrinks. It goes to a pinpoint, and that shrink timing is synced up perfectly with Ultron's beam. So when that circle closes that pinpoint, that's when the big burst hits. Even better, even if you use the default crosshair, that inner circle accurately represents his attack hit field. So as long as your inner circle's touching the target, you're landing damage. Like there's no weird offset aiming needed with Ultron. That's why I like it. And as you press the button and do your attacks with that circle shrinking, that's your tracking window. You hold on a target, it tightens up, you know when that pinpoint's going to happen, and you can try to land the full value. It feels great, it's easy to read, and it fits his playstyle perfectly. This attack's so good, because he's a hybrid DPS that's a strategist, he's got good, reliable damage. And also, it's worth noting, he's great in enemy flyers. When you start having these in-air anime battles with Human Torch and Storm and Iron Man and other Ultrons, if it flies, Ultron is a problem for him. So you're going to be using this attack all the time. Ultron's healing drone is Imperative Patch, and it's already one of the most underrated support tools in the game. It's your E ability, top right bumper if you're on controller. When you use it, you pick an ally within 25 meters, the drone attaches to them and follows them around, constantly heals everyone nearby. The ally you attach it to is granted 45 healing a second, and everyone else close that's in an 8-meter radius, including you, gets 30 healing a second. The drone can be destroyed, you're still free to move around, be in flight. But note, this is Ultron's main source to heal himself. As long as you're near the drone, you're getting the 30 healing a second. And that 30 healing a second, for context, it's the same as Rocket's self-heal, Jeff's bubble, Luna Snow's passive healing, except the Ultron drone is always active. There's no cooldown, no timer, just constant healing. You have other healing tools too, but this is your primary form of sustain. It's not burst healing, it is long-term value. If your team plays around it, it adds up fast. Every non-Ultron player know there is a drone somewhere near you. Someone on your team has it. There's a world where you find it, go get some healing if they're close. And I've seen a lot of matches ending with Ultron having the most healing or close to it, and this is why. And again, he does have a form of burst healing, which we'll cover later, but we're just focusing on the drone now. An important thing is the line of sight. The drone stays active as long as it can see you, and if that line of sight breaks, you have a 5-second grace period. You need to reestablish line of sight with the drone. If you don't do that, it shuts off. And that's why I recommend turning on another setting, the healing reticle feedback, because when this reticle is pulsing, that means the drone is actively healing. And if the pulsing stops, it means one of 4 things happened. 1, everyone's healed up. 2, your ally was downed and the drone is gone. 3, you lost line of sight for too long. Or 4, you went too far away. It has a 30-meter radius. So once you reach 30 meters, that little 5-second window starts. If you don't get back close, it goes away. But any of these cases, it doesn't matter. If that healing pulse stops, you need to fix it, because keeping this drone up 100% of the time is the most important thing you can do on Ultron. Always have that reticle pulsing. If it's not, you need to fix it, find out why. If everyone's healed, move it to someone who needs it. The drone's healing area is this 8-meter sphere, little invisible bubble. Since it is a sphere, this means it loses a ton of value if you place it on a flying ally, because the healing radius is going to float in the air. As you can see, because it's a bubble, anyone on the ground needs to be right under them for even a chance to try to get some healing. So unless you're specifically spot healing a flyer, the drone needs to be on someone grounded for maximum value. We'll talk about spot healing later. So where should you place it? The answer is super simple: wherever it's needed. A lot of the time, that's the front line initially, especially if you're running 2 tanks. They draw aggro, they take a ton of chip, the drone puts in work, you build up ult fast. But that's not always the best choice. It really depends on what your other strategists on your team are doing. If you have a Luna that's just healing the front line constantly and steadily, let her do that. And then you can stick the drone on her and play nearby. Or you can focus on the other couple DPS on the team, spot healing them. But when you place it on your other support, in this case Luna, it's keeping both of you alive, especially against dive. Ultron is incredible versus dive, and he himself already just built in, he's in the air. So he has just built-in anti-dive. Also, he has great damage output, but the drone gives even more protection. It's great for keeping you and the other supports up, especially when your other strategist is focusing on the front line. And again, if you see a DPS in trouble, get to them, drop the drone on them, get them back up, send them back out. If there's a big fight in mid, you drop the drone on the front line. It's flexible. The drone goes where the drone is needed. Very simple. And note here, the drone does work best on non-tanks, DPS, and strategists. You heal them up quickly. You don't need to babysit them. You just drop it on them for a little bit and then let them be on their way. Get the drone back to the front line or whoever needs it next. And depending on how much healing is needed, you can add more. We'll go into later, but your mindset should always be the same. Keep moving the drone to where it has the most impact. Remember, it's more preventative sustain. So it's good on the front line, it's good on the back line, but it also can and should be moved to allies in need. And that's really the rule. The drone is healing value. It should always be where it's needed the most. And with that, I do believe it's one of the best passive healing tools in the game. It doesn't react to damage, it prevents it. And in a game full of burst combos and dives and chip, that kind of constant healing is insanely valuable. Ultron's next support ability is Imperative Firewall. It's your right-click, wire triangle on controller. It's instant cast, has a 10-second cooldown, and works around both you and the drone, which means you're covering 2 zones at once. That's a huge deal. When you activate it, an 8-meter sphere forms around Ultron, just like the 8-meter sphere that the drone makes. But this ability grants Ultron 75 bonus health, and allies get 55 bonus health. And at the same time, the same thing happens around the drone, giving 55 bonus health to the ally it's attached to, and 55 bonus health to anyone within their 8-meter radius. So 2 points, 1 on the drone, 1 on Ultron. Everyone within 8 meters from both those points gets 55 extra health. And this bonus health isn't permanent. It starts decaying after 3 seconds, draining at 40 health a second. It's a temporary shield. It's a buffer that helps your team survive burst damage and can outlast pressure. And because it triggers around both Ultron and the drone, the positioning is everything. You drop the drone on a tank or a diving DPS, you pop the firewall, you're now protecting both the front line and the back line at the same time. You're doing this ability in 2 areas. This is Ultron's only burst heal. If an ally is in trouble, you drop the drone on them and hit the firewall, because that's 45 healing a second from the drone, and then the 55 instant health from the firewall, 100 health instantly. And then of course that's followed by the sustained healing. This is especially strong for your squishier teammates. As I talked about earlier, it's great for DPS and strategist. Anything non-tank. I even had a moment where an enemy Spider-Man was trying to solo ult my Luna. As the ult was happening, I dropped the drone on her, I hit the firewall, and just like that, she had the health to survive and turn the fight. Spider-Man down. And whoever was near me got that extra overhealth too. 2 zones, 1 button. It's really, really good. any non-tanks that need a burst heal, this is what you do to them. Give them the drone, pop the firewall, it gets them healthy in no time. And that's why it's great putting the drone on supports, because if they get dove, you already have the healing over time, the sustain. That enough breaks combo breakpoints. But then you have this added overhealth value. It is great. It's enough. It also comes in clutch when your team is getting pushed or when someone dives your backline. It doesn't stop damage, it buys time, it's padding, it's a buffer, just enough to survive the combos and get healed up. And with it being a 10-second cooldown, you can use it often. In fact, it lines up perfectly with Ultron's primary shots. If you were just to do the full rotation, shot after shot, once he goes into reload, he drops the fist pump animation, you pop the firewall. It goes right back into the cycle, and you can do that if you want, but every fight, you're trying to throw out this 55 hit point padding because it adds up. Your team is pushing up, or their team is pushing in to the zone. You pop it. Because this combined with the healing drone, you're constantly negating poke, chip, dive damage. You're forcing enemies to fully commit if they want the kill. That's what's really going on. So don't sit on the ability. It's a core part of the Ultron kit with how he heals, with how he creates support. If you have teammates around you, it is never wasted. Because remember, it's in 2 zones. There's fights happening, never wasted when you use it. You can use it early to shift momentum or defensively to bail someone out. And remember, the more allies grouped near you and your drone, the more overall value you've created. Ultron's movement ability is dynamic flight. It's your shift, controller its spear circle, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a quick dash that launches you into a high-speed flight mode. When you use it, Ultron dashes 12 meters in the direction that you're moving, so if you're holding back, he dashes straight backwards. Left, right, and so on. This also grants Ultron 50 bonus health. And after this dash, he enters an accelerated state for 8 seconds, giving him a 40% movement boost, meaning he moves at 8.4 meters a second. And while you're in dynamic flight, the ability does not go to cooldown. When it's over, it starts going to cooldown. And when it does, it's an 8-second cooldown. With dynamic flight, you can be a little bit more aggressive with your offense or defense. Offensively, you're strafing faster, you're laying down damage from the air. It also, again, has anti-dive built in. If a Spider-Man tries to grab you, you just dash away. If he tries to ult you, you can dash away. Same for any ult that's coming on top of you. Maybe it's Moon Knight. Just dash away. And in all these cases, not only are you making an ult miss or a Spider-Man miss, you're also getting 50 bonus health. If you're getting chased, you can dash away. If you're getting low health, you can dash away to get health. If a teammate needs help, you can dash to them and drop the drone on them. And that's something you will be doing. If they're outside of your drone distance, it's a quick 12-meter dash right to them to drop the drone. So it's great. You can reposition aggressively, chase down targets, dust enemies that are trying to collapse on you. It's reactive, it's mobile, gives you a lot of control on how you enter or exit fights. It's great versus dive, great versus pressure. I mean, he's already in the air. You're just moving even more out of the way. Importantly, this is combined with the Firewall ability. You will use this. Say you need health bad, you're low. Say there's a lot of pressure, you dash and Firewall. That's 125 health added to you instantly after you do it. Firewall dash, dash Firewall, whichever way you prefer. Survivability is really good with Ultron. And even better is the full loop. You do a dash into where your drone is. Say you get low, say the drone's on the support next to you, or if not, you find the closest teammate, you drop the drone on them, you dash into it and Firewall. The dash on the Firewall is that 125 isn't health, and then you go right into your drone with the healing over time. You could be super low and then be ready to rock in just seconds. And like we've talked about, this overhealth in general is a buffer. It's there so the healing over time can take over. And I think it's great. Definitely put this tool in your toolbox though. Sometimes the drone is right next to you or in front of you on the front line. If not, you place it on someone. If you ever take a lot of heat, dash and Firewall into your healing drone. Team ups with the Iron Man, the Nano Ray. It pierces through all characters, it heals allies, and deals damage to enemies. The beam deals max damage 20 meters and in, decreasing to 75% damage at 30 meters. So the damage is 70 damage a second. The heal part of the beam heals for 85 health a second. That isn't the full story though, and what this attack is, really is, are you ready? It's Jeff's Joyful Splash, but slightly weaker at first. Jeff's primary attack, that Joyful Splash, also deals 70 damage a second, but the healing coming from Jeff's primary is 130 health a second. So the best way to use this team up is adding in the drone. Usually frontline, whoever you give the drone to is getting 45 healing passively a second, 30 to everyone else. And with this team up beam, you're gonna be giving your droned ally 130 healing a second, and all allies within the drone are 115 healing a second. And you're also dealing damage. That's how you mainly want to use it. Place the drone on someone and use the ray into them, or you could just use it to negate chip damage. Nothing wrong with that. Ultron's ultimate is Rage of Ultron. Your Q on controller, click both sticks in. It costs 3,400 energy, and if you're landing shots, keeping your healing drone active, you build it up fast. You activate it, Ultron becomes unstoppable for 9 seconds, meaning you can't be stunned, you can't be slowed, can't be CC'd. And also on activation, you're granted healing, 50 hit points a second the whole time. So Ultron summons drones that fire the rays, which either damage enemies or heal allies, depending on who they hit. The numbers get a little messy, so let's simplify it and break it down. The ultimate fires 5 volleys over 9 seconds, and each volley shoots beams. Now, each volley deals 200 damage and 625 healing. Across the full ultimate, it deals 1,000 damage and 3,125 healing. That's not including the passive healing from your drone. It's massive. Easily some of the best healing in the game. It also chunks down enemies while doing that. There's no wrong way to use it. You can go offensive or defensive, depending on what the enemy team is doing. Personally, I like to use it defensively, like as a support ult. If the enemy has a strong push, you can negate it instantly. Get everyone max health and can fight back. And one of my favorite things, it out-heals a ton of offensive ults as well. Storm's a perfect example. Not only do you keep your allies up through it, but you're going to down Storm at the end, even with the Jeff NATO. It shuts down a lot of them. Magic ult, you just follow her, track her, keeping your allies alive and downing her. I love using it this way. So it's important to see what the enemy team has. A Storm, I save it for her. Moon Knight, I save it for him. Save it for a situation where I need my team to survive. It can be used during their Lona ult, their Cloak and Dagger ult, just to counter the healing that you're getting. I mean, you're keeping up your team just like they are. There's a ton of ways to use it. But with that said, it also works offensively. 2 volleys is 400 damage. That's enough to down non-tanks. You can focus supports, problematic DPS. A lot of times you can down both supports with your ult offensively. You can also dash during the ult. That gives you that 50 health point overshield. So maybe you're taking pressure mid ult. You can do a quick dash, get that health boost, reposition. But also something you can do before you ult, cast Firewall and the dash together, giving you that 125 health bonus shield. Again, a buffer. So once the ult starts, massive healing kicks in, and that buffer lets you tank burst at the start of it. Then the sustain takes over, which again is Ultron's entire kit, buffer and sustain. And one last tip, you can't firewall during the ult, so get that out beforehand. It's extra health. You can also stay near your healing drone if it's up, because that's going to stack with the passive healing from your ult. In total, Rage of Ultron gives you extreme burst healing, consistent damage, a complete CC immunity. It can be a game changer in any fight. It's really good. I've seen a lot of opinions about Ultron. Some say he only works in triple healer comps, which are pretty common right now. Others don't see him as a part of a 2 healer comp. That's not true. He works great in 2 healer comps. And if he's your 3rd healer, that's ideal because he brings a serious amount of damage to the table. Your core play loop is simple but active. You deal damage, check the drone. Ultron has strong burst, so he's great at softening enemies or finishing off low health targets, but you're constantly switching between supporting your team and pressuring the enemy. Deal damage, check drone, deal damage, check drone. The drone goes where it's needed, and you're going to move it based on where the fight is, where it's needed the most. When there's no immediate threat, it should sit with your grouped allies to soak up chip damage. Let's say a Psylocke retreats to the backline for healing, drop the drone on her, pop Firewall, that's your burst heal. You get her back into the fight fast. You send the drone somewhere else, maybe help the front line, or find the next ally who needs support. You're basically triaging the battlefield constantly. If the enemy team has a strong dive composition, there needs to be an unspoken agreement between you and your fellow supports. Ultron's drone is going to focus on protecting you and the other healers, giving them the sustain that they need to cover the front line. With the drone, you can still spot heal DPS, or shift the drone to help tanks if pressure swings, but it's that shared understanding. My kit covers you, me, your kit covers them. And that kind of helps keep the team from falling apart under pressure. If you're not getting dove, then the drone to the front line or where it's needed. In team fights, anytime Firewall is off cooldown, use it. It's free extra health. It's a buffer zone that spawns both where you are and where your drone is. It means if your drone is on the back line, you can dash to the front line and cast it. That way you can shield the tanks, then reposition. Or if you're already in the back line, you're shielding you and your supports, you're shielding your front line. You have that back and forth rhythm all fight long. Ultron's survivability comes from the smart use of Firewall and the dash. Together, they give you that 125 extra health bump. So use them together for burst survivability, or separately when you need just quick movement or that, again, buffer. He's an incredibly fun hero to play. You're overseeing the battlefield, you're healing where it's needed, you're damaging where it matters, you adapt, you reposition, you read the flow of the fight. And Ultron's power really comes from your awareness, not just of your enemies, but also your allies. Play smart, stay active, and you're going to make a massive impact. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about Ultron down below. And as always, share your tips, help each other out. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.